Hello there, everybody. This is the Explorer of Horror here. Your boy Nate. Welcome back to some more videos. And today, we're doing something a bit different. This is a bit of a different type of video. This is going to be much more straightforward, not a whole lot of editing. I'm just going to keep it plain, simple, and to the point and get right to the topic at hand. Now, today is a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I didn't really have time to make it before. My schedule was getting pretty busy, so I really didn't have a whole lot of room to fit this video in anywhere. But right now is a perfect time because it's sort of the in-between parts of my videos. I'm still trying to figure out what my next review is going to be. And I wanted to talk about this. I've been seeing a lot of posts about this on social media, and I've been hearing it brought up a lot lately. And I kind of wanted to give my 2 cents on this whole idea of opinions being mistaken for toxicity. And there is straight up people out there that are extremely toxic and attack everything and have just a very negative outlook on things. And we'll get into this more in detail. And I think every reviewer on YouTube, whether we're reviewing films or books or, comics, or video games, any person that approaches criticism, whether we're analyzing a movie and we're trying to figure out the good, the bad, and the ugly, there is times where you can be over analyzing a movie. I catch myself all the time watching a Marvel movie and just being like, oh my god, I gotta get all this stuff down, and yeah, this is a problem, and I think to the back of my mind, I'm like, this is just popcorn entertainment. So I'm gonna look at the bare minimum stuff, and if the bare minimum stuff doesn't work, then I'll bring up that as an issue. And I love to approach movies as fun. Like, if a movie is just straight delivering fun, then I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. I can accept that. That's basically what I'm looking for at the movie. But if a film chooses to take those extra steps and become very emotional and just very deep and very well written and shot and directed, and just that extra stuff is what makes a movie, to me, above that level of just being a regular movie. But I'm totally fine with having fun with films, and I'm totally fine with popcorn flicks, and hey, don't think about it too much, just go into it and have fun. I'm fine with that. Now, I will admit, in the past, I was pretty strict on movies. There's a lot of films that I look back on, and I'm like, I was really rough on those movies. But honestly, nowadays, it's a lot more fair. If a film is at least at bare minimum decent, I'll give it a pass. For me to hate a movie nowadays it has to be very, very, very bad. Like, it has to be checking no boxes. It has to be just absolutely one of the worst movies out there, or just a film with no passion, no care. And that, to me, is what also seals the deal of it being a bad movie, is if I can clearly watch a movie and I can tell that there was no effort or passion put into this. And more often than not, it's movies that have these big giant $30 million budgets and $40 million budgets and getting up to the high budget range, versus filmmakers that don't have even $1 million to work with, and they go out there and they make a better quality film. And it's not always the filmmaker's fault. Different circumstances are different things. Sometimes it's the studio's fault, sometimes it's the crew's fault, sometimes it is the director's fault for them going in there and just not putting in the effort. And the director is really where a lot of that energy for a film comes from, because he's the guy that makes all the decisions of where the actors are, where the crew is, and basically controls where the movie's going. And so I think it's very important for the director to be on point with the project. But sometimes a director looks at it as, hey, the studio is bugging me 24/7 about this, whatever. It's their money, it's their movie. They signed me on, so whatever happens, happens. But toxicity and honesty, I think there's just a weird thing going on where if you give your honest opinion and fair criticism, you're viewed as like, oh, you're a Debbie Downer. You turn movies down. You're toxic. And I disagree with that. I think there is room for honesty and discussion. To me, if you're given feedback on what could be done better to improve things in the future, it is a positive. You're helping whoever it is know that, hey, this didn't quite work. You can work on it in the future and maybe get it to be a little bit better. There've been plenty of projects I've made in the past that people have stepped up and be like, that didn't work so well, or that kind of sucked, you should really work on that, or that didn't really work well, or that's pretty terrible. And I look at that as like, okay, as long as you're giving a solution, as long as you're naming the problem specifically, and you're giving honest reviews of them, of whatever it is, then it's applicable to the movies in the future, projects in the future. You can improve things with whatever you're making later on, and it's a way to help. Versus, oh my god, the movie's a masterpiece. Well, why is it a masterpiece? It's just a masterpiece. It's so good. See, there's nothing to gain from that. Versus if, hey, the movie was good, but I would tweak the lighting, or I would fix this shot over here, or try to work on your focus, and work on your background shots, and work on your camera work a little bit, and then obviously people can be assholes about it and be like picking apart your movies or whatever, which again, I try not to do any of that. I just try to approach it as honest as possible, my raw thoughts after seeing a movie. And it's not always good, it's not always bad, and it doesn't always have to be, oh my god, perfect, amazing, or it doesn't always have to be, oh my god, it's terrible, it sucks, it's awful, worst movie ever made. You can fall in that in-between area. It's the beauty of movies, is that every movie I've seen is a bit different from the next. And it's not as simple as like, oh, I like that movie. There's like layers to it. I like the specific things about it. The direction, the camera work, the practicality of it, the creature designs, whatever, makeup effects. Any of that you can apply to your review of the film. Now, there is fans out there, and every single thing you can think of, whether it's music, comic books, Star Wars, movies, anime, any kind of fandom that you're dealing with, you can have toxic fans. And I've seen it, and I know it's out there. I'm not denying that toxicity is out there in the fan bases and stuff. It is. You'll come across these people that are just so bitter and so angry at everything, and not willing to give a lot of these projects a fair chance. And sometimes with the anger and the frustration that you hear from these people constantly on movies that even I'm like, I think this is fun. Like, I don't understand why you would even hate this movie. I hear a lot of these reviewers just saying the same things of just, it sucks, it's terrible, boring, pretentious, and it's just, it gets to a point to where you're wondering, like, man, like, what is entertaining to you? What is good to you? What can pass as a good film? And it really sucks because it also ends up with a lot of arguments. I've seen people attack other people for their opinions. Hell, I've had people attack me on fan pages and stuff because I said my honest opinions on films, and people were sending me not really death threats, but telling me like, oh, your opinion doesn't matter, you might as well go kill yourself. It's been pretty bad in the past with opinions on stuff. And even though I love movies, it's a subject that's so trivial to take so personally. And even me, a guy that loves cinema, I love movies, obviously. I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, whatever, with films. Obviously, I love movies. But even to me, if somebody were to say that they didn't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and if they didn't give reasons, I'd immediately be like, why? But if they gave reasons, which I've heard some, and I disagree with most, but the point is, if somebody were to say that, I wouldn't flip out and be like, oh my god, you know nothing, you're not even a horror fan, how dare you? I would not say that. To me, it's interesting when a conversation and a debate happens over movies. And I've had so many great ones with so many cool people that are just honest, that are honest and fair and give their reasons, and I like that. So to me, not everybody has to agree and be on the same page. Disagreements are fine and everything. It's just when you start attacking people and when you start just being so bitter about everything. I mean, I've heard some fans that are the toxic side of the fan base. Like, for example, Star Wars. I've heard so many Star Wars fans on podcasts or whatever just trash certain movies in that series and give opinions that I'm like, man, what do you view as entertaining? Like, what do you view as a decent film? Because some of these movies are saying is garbage. I'm like, man, what? And really, a lot of them don't give reasons. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't give reasons. It's just like, oh, well, the prequels suck because they're terrible and they suck ass. Well, there's no opinion there. You didn't give reasons, and I get it. In the past, I've said some crazy stuff. I've said some crazy stuff about movies I hate, but I always try to give reasons. I always try to give honest reasons of why I hate movies. And like I said, I don't hate movies very often. I've had a few people, kind of say like, oh man, you're kind of harsh on movies. I'm like, not really. You think I'm harsh on movies? Go take a look at the rest of the fandom, man. There's people out there that hate everything. I've seen people that just hate new films in general. Like, no matter what it is, no matter how good the film is or how hard they tried when they made the movie, if it's newer, it's automatically lessened. And I don't get that at all. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I don't understand what's wrong with moving on from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. I mean, those times are great, but we're no longer in the era of Grindhouse. So to expect Grindhouse tones for these movies, it's not going to happen. Maybe some have a Grindhouse tone, but that whole exploitation genre, very far in between nowadays. And I've just noticed that, and I'm like, I disagree with that. I think every era should be watched fairly, even the new stuff. There is definitely like a new film bias where a lot of people go into new movies and they're like, well, it wasn't as good as The Godfather, it wasn't as good as Scorsese. I'm like, you're comparing these movies to Scorsese? Of course you didn't like this movie. Your bar is way up here when it should be down here. You're watching a Twister movie level film. Like, Twister is a blockbuster. Jurassic Park is a blockbuster. Have your bar set at least at a medium level to where you can enjoy popcorn movies and those, 3-hour-long epics with dialogue and Shakespearean writing and wonderful camera work that's completely centered and it's all masterful with a wonderful score. Like, those films are great too, and I think what it is like, I love all that stuff. I love trashy movies. And that's the thing when people say, well, you're kind of harsh on movies. I love trashy movies. I'm a fan of Full Moon. I'm a fan of Trauma. I'm a fan of the, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of the Polonia brothers, but I like their movies. I respect what they did. I respect that they went out there and they shot those movies on an extremely low budget, and they went out there on their own time, their own dime, and they made their movies. I respect that. I respect, also, of course, Scorsese and, Tarantino and all the big directors out there. Spielberg, I like Spielberg. I like James Cameron, Terminator 1 and 2 obviously is my favorites. I love Aliens. Titanic's okay. But like, to me, the whole range of that, of the different quality films, I love all that. I love the journey of it, of just not knowing what you're going to see next. So I'm very open to movies. I'm very, open mindset to all kinds of different movies. Really, the only movies I don't like is romantic comedies. I just don't find them funny. And I don't find them entertaining. That's the one genre that I go to and revisit the least, is romantic comedies. That's my only bias, is like, talking about romantic comedies, so I don't like them. But, yeah, like, there is a difference between sharing an honest opinion, though, and being toxic. And it is sad because I do see these people out there that burn themselves out on films. And it's completely possible. I've seen it happen with people that loved movies and they were huge fans, and they watched just movie after movie after movie and just really look at these movies with a really close eye and just constantly criticizing them and constantly just trying to analyze these movies for problems and taking them super serious. And just, I've seen it happen, and I've seen people burn themselves out on movies to where you can tell they're not even happy talking about movies anymore. And it's sad, it is sad, but when some people decide to take the business route with criticism, film criticism, whatever, I think you will burn yourself out, because now you're going to get paid to review these films, and now it's a job, no longer a hobby. And so I do see people out there get just burnt out. But not even just that, just people that watch these movies and just not even having fun with them, not even watching them for entertainment's sake. And it's just sad. And I'm just like, man, where's the joy in watching movies if you feel like you have to? And you don't have to. It's not a competition. It's not like I have to watch every movie on the planet that's ever been made. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. You're just not going to. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many movies you watch in a year. You're not going to watch every single movie ever made. That's not the point. The point is to have fun, enjoy the ride, and be surprised by these movies. And to really take your time with your journey and go out there and just, see what you can find. See what the next movie is that you're going to love. What's a subgenre you haven't watched yet? It's just a vast world. And to see people take things so seriously and attack people and say just nasty stuff, it's sad. And it goes into wrestling too. I've seen it a lot in wrestling. I think it's at its worst with the wrestling fan base. The wrestling fan base, while I've met cool people in it, there are some people that are just ready to go at your throat if you disagree with their opinions. And it really is, it's sad. It really is sad. And toxicity out there exists. And I do think that you should approach things with an open mind. I think that's the best way to approach movies and wrestling, whatever your hobby is, that you just approach constantly and you're constantly watching it and you're constantly talking about it. Even if you are a critic and even if you're not, just have fun with the journey, experience the movies, and give your honest thoughts, your honest opinions. And if it comes from an honest place, a truthful place, then, express your opinions. You have the right to. That doesn't immediately make you a toxic person because you've given a rant on a movie or you said a movie sucks and you've given reasons. No, because saying that a movie sucks and giving no reasons, that's understandable. There's nothing there. There's no evidence. There's no defense of why you think it's bad. But if a person gives reasons to say the person's negative and, oh my God, how dare you rant on this movie and why are you so toxic? No. That is a misuse of the toxic word. The true toxicity I've seen is attacking people and trashing every little thing about a movie and saying that every movie that comes out nowadays sucks and just all that negativity and all that just really just bringing down the energy. And I really don't know why some people are so bitter about movies, are so just angry at movies and I don't know if it's just a hatred towards new movies or what, but there is a lot of people out there that they approach newer films, newer horror movies, and they're so hard on them. And I get it, mainstream horror right now is in a pretty bad place as far as just, it's easy scares and easy money, but there's good stuff out there too. You just got to keep looking for it. And that's coming from a guy that rants on movies. And yeah, I'll rant on movies. I'll say a movie sucks, but I'll also explain why I think it sucks. So yeah, I think that the whole honesty versus toxicity, that's basically what I think about it. I think you should have the right to, talk about a movie, give your honest thoughts. Approach a movie with a fun mindset, though. If it doesn't hold up, if it doesn't end up being good, then give your honest thoughts on it. There's nothing wrong with that. But have fun. Don't take it so seriously. It's a hobby. It's not a job. It's a hobby. But some people do make it into jobs, and it kind of becomes that. And I approach this stuff for fun. I approach it for entertainment, escapism, and all that. So for me to turn it into a job, it would be very hard because to watch movies that often and, having to review movies that often, it probably would weigh down on me as well. So I don't know. I haven't been there. I don't want this to kind of become a job. If I got donations and everything, I'd appreciate it, but that's not really, I'm not here to be, getting money and getting rich off of YouTube or anything like that. I'm here because it's fun. I love talking with y'all. I view y'all as my friends, my family, and I enjoy doing this. I don't come here to get rich and get money. And I've met some people who are on here for money and, just to get a quick buck and talk about a movie and whatever. But that's not why I'm on here. I'm on here to talk about what I want to talk about, review what I want to review, and shine a light on some movies that need to be talked about more, rather. Tongue twister there. But yeah, I think honesty should exist. Toxicity is terrible, but the best that you can do to deal with toxic fan base syndrome. I almost said like toxic fan base syndrome. To deal with toxic fans and a fan base, man, I can't talk today, is to just sort of ignore it. Ignore those people trying to attack you or trying to say this and that about you or trying to just do those really bad things and say those bad. Just ignore them. They want attention. They want people to watch their stuff. They want people to pay for their stuff. And they want people to think that their opinions are the only ones that matters and that nobody else can disagree with them, which is to me preposterous. But yeah, honesty versus toxicity, very different things. I think fair criticism should exist, and if you don't like a movie, you should be able to say that you don't like it. You don't have to like everything. However, you ain't got to be a jerk about everything either, so it's a very fine line. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of do this to get this off my chest. I've been seeing this topic brung up a lot lately, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it and my comments on it. But anyways, y'all, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and Explorer 4 is out. Stay tuned for some chill vibes. We're going to end this with some chill vibes, and we'll get to the shout outs and all that, and we'll see you guys at the end of the video. So later. Peace. And today's horror YouTuber shout out goes to Chris Brock. I'm a really big fan of his content. We've been friends for a long time. He makes good content, good videos, and yeah, I wanted to give him a shout out in this video. So yeah, shout out to Chris Brock. Thank you so much for all the years of support and friendship, man. Really appreciate your support of the channel, and you make great content, man. So shout out to Chris Brock. And yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. You guys have a great night. Take care. And we'll send you out with some positive vibes. Later, y'all.